Hello everyone, Bunny here. Today I want to give you another short 5-minute guide to a deck, and I thought what better deck to start back with than the one that's currently sitting on top of all the power rankings. Explain to you the most powerful deck in the game right now at the super highest level. Explain a little bit why it's powerful and what kind of things you can do to play it a little bit better than average. Alright, let's get started right away. Here we have the Aggro Mage. It doesn't have any ping components compared to the other mage, but it's mostly reliant on playing small minions and then burning your opponent in the face. The key cards in this deck are kind of Frozen Touch, because you play a lot of very small minions and you try to infuse Frozen Touch again and again and again and kind of burn your opponent in the face. Especially this deck has started to gain a lot of popularity because it does well against Rogue, and Rogue doesn't have any very good access to healing. Especially with Azulor being nerfed and that coming down one turn later, you can often burn your opponent quite early. So let's get directly to the Mulligan guide. Of course, your keeps are your 1-drops. Shivering Sorceress is great. Suspicious Alchemist is great. And especially against Rogue and other decks that have a lot of spells, Iron Deed Chop is absolutely amazing. That card helps you a lot through the early game. And then another card that you're always supposed to keep is Frostweave Dungeoneer. Frostweave Dungeoneer in this deck is guaranteed to be a 3-mana 2/3 with 2 1/1s, which has multiple upsides. Firstly, it's really good board. It goes quite wide. It freezes your opponent and enables them from doing a lot of things. While at the same time, you get to push damage. You get to have 3 bodies to infuse your Frozen Touch. And whenever your opponent trades, they also get frozen. So it basically fulfills a lot of purposes as once. Another card that has pretty good mulligan win rate actually is Prismatic Lens. And then if you're playing against other aggressive decks, you can also keep Amplified Snow Flurry. Amplified Snow Flurry is not such a great card by itself in terms of mulligan win rate, but I think this card is worth keeping most of the time, unless you're on coin. If you're on play and you already have a 1-drop, I feel like this is a nice card to fill out your curve, because mostly you just want to play one of the 1-drops first. Arcane Worm is, statistically speaking, is the weakest 1-drop if you're looking at 1-drops. And the strongest thing we can do is play Shivering Sorceress or a Trog or an Alchemist into Frostweave Dungeoneer and build a bit of board like this. Alright. And then another thing that you can do is if you play against a mirror, or if you know that you play against another aggressive deck and you already have a Shivering Sorceress, you can keep Deathborne as well. Deathborne has really high mulligan win rates because if you play against other aggressive decks, keeping the Deathborne early and discounting with the Shivering Sorceress makes you the first person to be able to swing the board. And if you get to swing the board with Deathborne, you get a lot of skeletons, and they trade very favorably with a lot of what your opponent can do. General game plan is basically to take value trades whenever you can, super early in the game, but in the mid game, you're basically just trying to push face, and you try to calculate how much damage you can do over time to your opponent. So yeah, point it all face on basically on turn 8, your Arcane Bolts will start dealing 3 damage. So basically what you're trying to set up is with infusing Frozen Touches early, and when they're infused, you basically want to play them because they're kind of for free and you have so many minions. You point this face or towards minion. The most effective way of playing decks like this is always, in general, spells kill minions, minions go face. This is the most effective way to play these kind of decks, if you just need a super general guide on how to play this. Something else that can help you in this deck is also trying to freeze your opponent before you come into turn 5-6. Especially Flurry being upgraded on turn 5 lets you often freeze your opponent's board around turn 5. So in general, big minions from Rogue, you try to ignore, basically freeze out for the rest of the game. But also, something that you can do in order to make your opponent play suboptimally is freeze their boards turn 4-5, and then threaten to be able to play a good Deathborne on turn 6. Even if you don't have it, often enough the threat of being able to play a Deathborne is important or good enough to make your opponent like kind of play around it and make suboptimal plays. So you can also play second Deathborne in your deck instead of a Vizier, because like the deck has a very good mulligan win rate for Deathborne compared to Vizier. But the best version of the deck does play double Vizier. I do like having the threat of Deathborne in the game though, so that's why you can always switch around a little bit to see which of those versions you like the best. Hope this guy was a little bit useful to some of you guys, and you guys will have some fun clicking people in the face and smorking people down. Especially if you face a lot of rogues, this is a great deck to play. Hope to see you on stream, and as always, remember that you're valuable and that you matter, and I'll see you go around.